I have a lot of memories of Diane. I guess I feel as though I've known you my whole life. So you're a great artist. I remember it and I love it, and I love you forever. Thank you.
Al Pacino is the Godfather, but at 85 the electricity is gone. Recent photos show him frail and disheveled. The world thinks it's exhaustion from his new baby. But the truth is heartbreaking. Following the death of his soulmate Diane Keaton, Pacino finally broke his silence. He admitted the woman he let get away was the only one who truly knew him. "I should have married her," he reportedly whispered to a friend. This is the tragic story of a man who conquered the world, only to realize he left his heart in the past. The shadow in the sunlight. To understand the depth of Al Pacino's current despair, we must first look closely at the man walking down the streets of Beverly Hills in February 2026. If you saw him, you might not recognize him. The man who once roared in Scent of a Woman, the man whose eyes could burn a hole through a movie screen, now looks, he is bundled in a heavy navy coat, despite the California sun. He wears a beanie pulled low. His headphones are tangled. He shuffles. The tabloids run headlines about his disheveled appearance. They speculate about his health. They zoom in on his gray beard and his tired skin. They treat him like a curiosity, a spectacle, but they are missing the story. They are looking at the body, but they are ignoring the soul. Al Pacino isn't just old. He is grieving. Just months ago, in October 2025, the news broke that Diane Keaton had passed away from pneumonia at age 79. When the news hit, the world mourned a fashion icon and a brilliant actress, but Al Pacino mourned his other half. His statement at the time was beautiful, poetic, and devastatingly sad. "She was my partner, my friend, someone who brought me happiness," he wrote. "She could fly, and in my heart she always will." But words on a page cannot capture the vacuum left in a life. Imagine being 85 years old. You are surrounded by noise. Pacino's current life is a whirlwind of chaos. He has a toddler, Roman, who is only 2 years old. He has a girlfriend, Noor Alfallah, who is 31 younger than his own daughters. He is dealing with custody agreements, child support payments of $30,000 a month, and the relentless demand to keep working to pay for it all. He is promoting a new movie, Dead Man's Wire, not because he needs the artistic fulfillment, but because the machine needs to be fed. In the middle of this noise, the crying baby, the paparazzi, the agents, the contracts, the one person who understood the silence is gone. Diane Keaton was the only woman who knew Al before he was a caricature of himself. She knew him when he was just a shy, intense boy from the Bronx trying to figure out who Michael Corleone was. Now that she is gone, he is truly alone in the crowd. He is trapped in a life that demands the energy of a 40-year-old, while his heart is stuck in 1972. The exhaustion you see in those recent photos isn't just physical, it is existential. It is the look of a man who realizes he took a wrong turn 50 years ago and the road back has been washed away by time. To understand why this loss broke him, we have to travel back to the moment the bond was forged. We have to go back to a dark set in New York City, where two young actors were about to change cinema forever. The wedding that never happened. The year was 1971. The movie was The Godfather. Today, we look at that film as a masterpiece. But at the time, it was a war zone. The studio hated Al Pacino. They thought he was too short, too quiet, too weird. They wanted Robert Redford. They wanted Ryan O'Neal. Pacino was terrified. He was convinced he was going to be fired every single day. He was suffering from anxiety that made it hard to breathe. He sat in the corner of the set, trembling, waiting for the axe to fall. And then, he met Diane. Diane Keaton was cast as Kay Adams, the innocent wife of the mob boss. She was eccentric. She was funny. She wore funny hats and layered clothes. She had a laugh that sounded like a hiccup. She saw the terror in Al's eyes, and she didn't judge him. She made him laugh. They fell in love in the trenches. It wasn't a showmance. It was a lifeline. "We were saving each other," Pacino later admitted. She was the only thing that made sense in that chaos. Their chemistry on screen was palpable because it was real. When Michael Corleone shuts the door on Kay at the end of the movie, it is one of the most chilling moments in cinema. But when the director yelled "cut," Al and Diane were inseparable. They were the it couple of the new Hollywood. They represented a new kind of stardom, messy, intellectual, intense. They were on and off for nearly 2 decades. Through the filming of The Godfather Part 2, through the insanity of The Godfather Part 3, Diane Keaton wanted to get married. She made no secret of it. She loved him. She wanted to build a life with him. She wanted the stability that her character Kay never got. She waited, and she waited. She famously said, "I wanted him to love me as much as I loved him." But Al Pacino had a problem. He had a fear of commitment that was deeper than the Mariana Trench. He was married to his art. He was married to the work. He believed the lie that Hollywood tells all its young kings: you cannot have both. He thought that if he settled down, if he became a husband, he would lose his edge. He would lose the fire that made him great. He looked at marriage as a cage, not a sanctuary. So he pushed her away. He pulled her close, then pushed her away again. It was a torture loop that lasted for years. Finally, Diane had enough. She walked away. She found other loves. She adopted children on her own. She built a life that didn't depend on his indecision. I'll let her go. He thought he had time. He thought he could always call her. He thought she would always be there, waiting in the wings of his life. He went on to have children with other women. He had relationships. But he never married. Not really. He stayed the eternal bachelor, the lone wolf. He thought he was winning. He thought he was staying free. But looking back now from the vantage point of 85 years, we can see the truth. He wasn't staying free. He was building a prison of isolation. And the only person who had the key just took her final breath. The near-death experience. To understand why death weighs so heavily on Pacino now, we must reveal a secret he kept for years. Al Pacino knows what death feels like, because he has already died once. In 2020, during the height of the pandemic, Al Pacino contracted COVID-19. He was alone in his house. He started to feel unwell. He was dehydrated. His fever spiked. And then, the lights went out. He told the New York Times recently, "I sat there in my house and I was gone. I didn't have a pulse." His heart stopped. For several minutes, the greatest actor in the world was a corpse sitting in an armchair. Paramedics arrived. There were 6 of them in his living room, wearing hazmat suits that looked like spacesuits. They shocked him back. "He's back. He's here," one of them said. Pacino opened his eyes. He looked around. Most people who have near-death experiences talk about a white light. They talk about seeing their ancestors. They talk about a sense of peace and love. Al Pacino saw nothing. There was nothing there, he confessed. As Hamlet says, "No more, it was just gone. You are here, and then you are not." Strange porridge. This experience shook him to his core, though he tried to play it off with humor. It stripped away the romanticism of death. It made him realize that the legacy he spent 60 years building, the movies, the awards, the fame, doesn't exist in the void. When you die, the applause stops. The screen goes black. That terror of non-existence has haunted him for the last 5 years. And now Diane is in that void. The woman who held his hand when he was a terrified young man is now in the place where there is no more. This reality is what makes his current life seem so absurd, so frantic. He is 85 years old. He has stared into the abyss. And yet, he is changing diapers. He is negotiating with a 31-year-old girlfriend about custody schedules. He is worrying about box office receipts for Dead Man's Wire. It feels like a man running on a treadmill that is going too fast, trying to outrun the silence he knows is waiting for him. He is trying to fill the void with life, with a new baby, with new projects, with noise. But the silence is winning. You can see it in his posture. You can see it in the way he shuffles. He isn't running anymore. He is just trying to stay upright. The chaos of the Patriarch. Let's zoom in on the reality of Al Pacino's daily life in 2026. The media calls it a modern family. But let's call it what it is, a logistical nightmare. Al Pacino has 4 children. His eldest daughter, Julie, is 35. His twins, Anton and Olivia, are 24. And his son, Roman, is 2. There is a 33-year gap between his oldest and his youngest. He is a great-grandfather age, doing the job of a new father. His relationship with Roman's mother, Noor Alfallah, is a source of endless speculation. She is 31 years old. She comes from money. She moves in high society circles. She has been linked to Mick Jagger, to Clint Eastwood, to billionaire Nicholas Berggren. The press calls her a star hunter. Al calls her a friend. They are not married. They don't even live together full-time, yet they are bound by a child. Last year, a custody agreement was leaked. Al pays $30,000 a month in child support. He put $110,000 up front for a nurse. He pays for the health insurance. He is the bank. In recent interviews, Pacino tries to sound optimistic. He says, "It's fun. I play the harmonica with Roman." He says he wrote his memoir, Sonny Boy, so Roman would know who his father was because he knows he won't be around to see the boy grow up. "I want to be around for this child. And I hope I am," he said. It is a heartbreaking admission. He is doing the math. When Roman is 10, Al will be 93. When Roman graduates high school, Al will be 100, or he will be gone. He is creating memories for a child who will likely only remember him as a very old, sick man. Contrast this chaos with what he could have had with Diane Keaton. If he had married Diane, they would have been two legends, aging together. They would be sitting in a garden, reading scripts, laughing about the old days. They would have had a shared history of 50 years. They would have been equals. Instead, he is surrounded by people who work for him, or people who need something from him. His 31-year-old girlfriend drives the car. He sits in the passenger seat, looking lost. The power dynamic has shifted. The Godfather is no longer the one pulling the strings. He is the one being driven. The contrast is violent. On one side, the memory of Diane, intellectual equality, deep emotional connection, a partnership of souls. On the other side, the reality of Noor, a transactional arrangement, a generational gap that cannot be bridged by money or charm. Al Pacino chose freedom in his 30s. And the price of that freedom is this chaotic, fragmented twilight in his 80s. Loss of the peers. It isn't just Diane. The world around Al Pacino is vanishing. Just last week, another blow struck. Robert Duvall, his brother in The Godfather, the Tom Hagen to his Michael Corleone, passed away. In our timeline, Duvall was 95. Al released a statement. He was a born actor. His phenomenal gift will always be remembered. I will miss him. James Caan is gone. Marlon Brando is gone. John Cazale is gone. The Corleone family is dead. Al Pacino is the last Don standing. But standing alone isn't a victory. It is a sentence. It is the curse of longevity. You have to watch everyone who knew you when you were young disappear. You have to watch the witnesses to your life fade away, one by one. Who can Al talk to now? Who can he call and say, "Remember that day on the set in 1972? No one. Noor wasn't born. His children weren't born. The executives weren't born. His memories are becoming orphans. This isolation is what drives him to the studio. Why was he at that LA studio looking so frail? Why is he making Dead Man's Wire? Because the set is the only place that hasn't changed. Action and cut still mean the same thing. The camera still loves him, even if the mirror doesn't. He works not because he needs the money, although the child support helps, but because he needs the noise. He needs the distraction. If he stops working, he has to sit in a room and think about Diane. He has to think about the nothingness he saw when his heart stopped. He has to think about the fact that he traded a life of intimacy for a life of adoration, and now the adoration is fading, and the intimacy is gone. He is trying to outrun the quiet. But at 85, you can't run fast enough. The final confession. In the wake of Diane Keaton's death, sources say Al has been reflective. He has been watching their old movies. The Godfather, Manhattan. He sees the spark in her eyes. He sees the way she looked at him, and he realizes that she was the one. He admitted in an interview years ago, "I guess I didn't see the marriage thing as I don't know, I was afraid. Fear. The man who played the bravest gangsters was a coward in love. And now, he is paying the price." She lived without limits, he said in his tribute to her. He is realizing that he lived with limits. He limited his heart. He limited his vulnerability. He protected himself so well that he ended up safe, rich, and famous, and empty. The confession, "I should have married her," is not just about a wedding ring. It is about a life path not taken. It is about the realization that the golden cage of Hollywood bachelorhood was actually a solitary confinement cell. He traded a partner for a series of guests, and now, as the party ends, The guests are leaving, and he is the only one left to clean up the mess. He looks at his baby son, Roman. He loves him, but he knows he is a grandfather to his own son. He knows that Roman will grow up reading about his father in history books, not knowing him as a man. It is a heavy legacy to leave. The Lonely King. Al Pacino is a legend. His name will live forever, but names don't keep you warm at night. His story is a cautionary tale about the cost of prioritizing glory over connection. It is a reminder that freedom without connection is just loneliness. He stands today at 85, a giant of cinema. But if you strip away the Oscars, the money, and the fame, what do you see? You see a man in a beanie, holding a coffee, looking for a familiar face in a crowd of strangers. You see a man who misses his friend. Diane Keaton once said of him, "Al was the most entertaining man." To me, that is the most beautiful face. That face is now lined with grief. He is the king who lost his queen because he was too afraid to let her sit on the throne next to him. And now, he has to rule a kingdom of ghosts alone. We love you, Al. We honor your work, but we also see your pain. And we hope that in the quiet moments, between the takes and the diapers, you can still feel her spirit. She could fly. You said, maybe, just maybe, she is waiting for you to fly too. What do you think? Did Al Pacino make a mistake by choosing his career over Diane Keaton? And do you think having a child at 83 is a second chance or a burden? Let us know in the comments below. This is The Seventh Lens. We see the human behind the hero. Thank you for watching.